All right, Bahamas. This is going to be the most important episode of the year. I promise you this is going to be the most important episode of the year. Because this is what we're discussing. We're discussing one of the main reasons why people block their blessing. So if you struggling, if your mom's struggling, if your pa's struggling, if your family's struggling, your husband's struggling, it's a reason for that. So this is an important one. You got to sit down for this one. This one real important. So we're looking at the second commandment. You shall not make idols. It's as simple as that. It's a short one. You shall not make idols. So we're going deep into this one. We're going to look at the 5 ways Bahamians make idols. I shouldn't say Bahamians. The 5 ways people make idols. But I can bring it home to the Bahamas anyway, because I love y'all. So we're going to discuss the 5 ways people make idols, how they block their blessing by worshiping false idols, and then worst of all, why they do it. So this one can be deep. So what is an idol? Let's just start off with that. Start off plain and simple. What is an idol? An idol is anything you put before God. It's as simple as that. So if you know you have a child out there, he raping, he robbing, he stealing, you condoning that, then that's your idol. Because clearly you love your child more than you love God. They're going to work today. I tell you, Bahamas, this one can be deep. Anything you put before God. You get one husband out there who beating up on you. Clearly you love the husband more than you love God. That's your idol. It's as simple as that. If you get one job out there that's keeping you away from your family, then clearly you love that job more than you love God. We're going to work today, Bahamas. But that's the easy part. See, talking about idols is the easy part. We're going to get into that. I'm starting with that. Because it said, you shall not make idols. The most important part of this is that word make. Now let me explain that word make to you, because we got to go deep into this one. The thing is this. We were created in God's image. So if God is the great creator, and we were created in God's image, one of the main reasons why people don't understand God is because what they don't understand is this. Everything in your life you made. So going deep into this, and we talking about the word make. So that marriage you got, when you catching hell, you made that marriage. Let me go deep into that one. I promise you. So here's the thing. What is the ingredients? If you get infidelity in there, if you get homosexuality in there, everything that you put into that marriage is something that you made. And you know what's the worst thing about it? You know what's the main ingredient in your marriage? You. You and your husband, or you and your wife. You're all the main ingredients. See, whatever you in, you made that. If you get one child out there doing drugs, it's something you made. It doesn't matter. Take responsibility. God gave you dominion over them children. They're yours. You are the hand in that. So if the streets is one of the ingredients, and the streets help you to raise that child, then you got what you made. Go on, we going deep into this one. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care how bad it's been. You get rape victims out there. What did you make of that? You get people growing up in the hood, people growing up in poverty. What did you make of your life? Every single thing you got in life was an ingredient. And you had to take it and create something. And if you didn't create something, that's on you. See, this one go deep. In fact, I have a funny joke. So listen to this now. Sorry to cut into this, but I got a funny joke. So the other day, me and my wife was rowing. And I can't remember what we was rowing about, but it probably was dishes. It always, let me tell you something. Whenever we have an argument, it always start off with dirty dishes. And then everything else has come out. She'll find something else to blame me for, but it start off with dirty dishes. And let me tell you about this argument. And so I said to her, I sat her down. I said, listen to me. I have a question. She said, what? Now, you know you don't answer your husband like that, but that's my wife, so what I can do? She's the only person who can answer me what. But anyway, so she said, what? I said, I have a serious question. And this is the question. I said, do you want to be married to me? She sucked her teeth as long as Bay Street, that long suck teeth. I said, that's a stupid question. I said, let me see why I'm asking you this question. Because a lot of people out there who in love and they ain't married. There's a lot of people out there who get churned and they can never get married. So we don't have to be married. Just because we love each other, we don't have to be married. Now I say, now, do you want to be married? So she sucked her teeth again and said yes, because I was persistent. I said, good. So if you want to be married, then we could go through this together. Now stop stressing me out and go wash them dishes. That will go all over. Listen to me. She agreed to it. A marriage is something that we made. We created it, and what we have is what we chose. That is life. I don't care how bad your life is. It's all about what you do with it. So we're discussing the make part of this. So before we can discuss idols, what I want you to understand is this. One of the main reasons why people blame God, why they don't understand God, is because they hate their life. They hate what they're going through. They hate the cards they were dealt. But I'm here to tell you, everything that you got was an ingredient, and whether you choose to use it for good or for bad, I don't know. But that's on you. But you can't blame God. Now let's go to work. So listen to this. Now I'm going to warm you up first. Let's say a prayer. God, we pray that you may bless us and guide us and protect us and help us to turn lemons into lemonade. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Let's go to work. So listen to this. I'm going to warm you up first. And I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons why people idolize and what they idolize. But listen to this story. I'm going to warm you up. And we're in Matthew chapter 25. And listen to this parable. And this is the parable about the talents. And I can break down this thing about us being creators. And that we create everything we see in life. In fact, let me go deeper with this one. When you look at life, it's like this. People walk around, especially atheists, and they blame God for salvation and saying, you know what? Why are people starving? Why is there starvation in the world if there is a God? But here's the thing. If you create an economic system whereby the rich can lobby the government and make laws that benefit them, so that 1% of the population owns 50% of the resources in the world. So 1% of the population owns 50% of what the earth has to offer. Then how is it possible that there isn't going to be starvation? Think about it. We created that. See, this one go deep. I don't even want to get into all of that because that's politics. But what I'm trying to say is life is what you create. We created this thing. And what I want you to understand is if you allow God and put God first, then any and everything is possible and everything is going to be worked out no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've made. Because some people really made a mess of their life. Some people in jail listening to this. See, this one go deep. What I want you to understand is if you let God be the architect, let God finish it off. See, the problem with life is this. A lot of people know the Bible, but they don't know the author. Now, how you can know the Bible and you don't know the author? How you can know the Bible and you don't even like the author? You mad at God half of the time because you feel like God made that happen to you. All right, let's go to work. It's talk enough. Listen to this. And this is the parable of the talents. And let's see what this person made of their life. Now, listen to this. This one is deep. And we're in Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, because I've talked too much and I only get like 20 minutes. So let's go to work. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling on a far road who called his own servants and delivered unto them goods. So here it is. Jesus is telling this parable about God. And he's talking about the kingdom of heaven. He's saying God gave you something. And he gave you something. And what is that thing God gave you? Inside of all of us is something that gave us the ability to be successful. And what does success look like? Not money, not riches, but godliness. So God put something in all of us that would allow us to be godly, no matter how bad the situation is. And listen to what happened. Then the servant that had received 1 talent came and said, Lord, I know thee. Thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not scattered. So Jesus said it twice. Whenever God repeats himself, you know it's important. So God said he gave a talent to someone and they were angry because they only received 1. And listen to how they thought about God or how they thought about the master. Listen to what they said. They said it twice. You reap where you have not sown. You gather where you have not scattered. So basically what this person is saying is, God, I grew up in poverty. I was molested. So how could you expect anything good from me? Don't look to me for nothing. Don't ask me for nothing. I'm cold. I don't like what happened to me. I have cancer. I'm sick. Don't talk to me. Because some bad people out there selling drugs. And guess what? They have a healthy body. And they have a sound mind. But I'm suffering. So what this person is basically saying is, and he said it twice, you look to gather where you have not sown. So if you haven't given me anything, if you haven't given me that seed you always talk about, then how you looking for something from me? How you looking for me to be kind? How you looking for me to be loving? So this person was deep. And Jesus was telling this story. And let's continue on. In verse 25. And I was afraid, and I went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there is where is thy talent. So what is this person saying? This person goes on. So this person really went off on God. This person hot like a 6. He vexed. You already tell God you're looking for something where you haven't planned anything. You ain't give me nothing, so why are you looking for something? And then the person goes on to tell God, and listen to this. The person goes on to say, I was afraid, and so I hid your talent in the earth. So what does it mean by I was afraid? I was afraid means this. On judgment day, the person is going to go to God and say, you know why I slept with my boss? Because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to feed my family. You know why I robbed those people? Because I was afraid my children would starve and wouldn't have any place to live. I needed to do that to live. I was afraid my husband was going to leave me, so I go on to the OB. Come on, I'm going deep today. So the person said to God, because remember, this is about judgment day. They started off by saying the kingdom of heaven is like this. So they went to God, and God is judging them. And they say, you know what, God? I was afraid. And that's why I did what I did. I killed that person because I was afraid. I kept them down. You know what? They wanted my job. And they bring this person in the company, and I was afraid, so I blocked them out. And I tell lies about them, and I gossip about them. And I push them out of the company because I was afraid. And then it goes on to say, I was afraid, and I hid thy talent. What does hid thy talent mean? That means that, you know what? I got cold. What is a talent? A talent is love. A talent is forgiveness. A talent is charity. A talent is all the different gifts of the Holy Spirit. But this person is saying, I was afraid. So that love got cold, and I hid that. That's deep. It's deep in the dirt. I mean, that's deep inside of me. So the person who's going out there robbing and stealing, that's somebody's child. That's somebody's father. You know what they saying? I'm not a bad person. I'm a good person deep down on the inside, and I want to do good. But guess what? My life is hard. The world is harsh. So I'm cold. So they say I hid that talent. Whatever God put in me after that person raped me, I hid it. Why? Because I hate people. I hate men. I hate life. So this person went deep. This person went in on God. And this is judgment day. And listen to God's response. Because this is why a lot of people don't understand God. Listen to what God said to this person. Listen to the reply. And this is the important part. And the Lord said, cast the unprofitable servant into outer darkness, where there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Why? Because he made nothing of himself. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you look at life, when you look at this world is a mess. I'll be the first to tell you, this world is a mess. The house getting more and the have-nots are getting less. The rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. But guess what? Your life is not a mess. See, this world could do whatever it want to do, but my life is great. And I tell you what, listen to what it said. The way you see the world or the way you see your life is the way you see God. So the problem with all this is, this person made nothing of himself for one simple reason. Why did he make nothing of himself? Because he only had one talent. So when he looked out at life and he saw how hard life is or how hard the world is, it's the same way he looked at God. And if that's what you do, you will never make it in life. Why? Because the way God looks at life is this. I gave you a talent, even if it's just one. Even if you got raped. Let's go deep into this one. I can take my time with this one. This is an important one. This is why a lot of people are missing their blessing. Even if you got raped, that is an ingredient. For instance, you have mothers out there who have their children who were killed by drunk drivers. So they set up an organization. They call it MAD, and it stands for Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. And they're helping people. So even if you got raped, as bad as that is, what are you going to use it for? Are you getting wiser? Are you getting smarter? Are you getting kinder? Are you getting more forgiving? Are you willing to put yourself out there? And why am I saying this to you? Because when you look at the worst institution in the world, which is slavery, every single slave got raped. And if every single slave who got raped just closed up and hated the world and destroyed themselves and hated God, we wouldn't be here today. If you look at the Bible, how many important men went through slavery? Joseph was in slavery. Samson was in slavery. All of these men were in slavery. Joseph was in slavery straight up until the time he became the second greatest man in Egypt. Samson was in slavery straight up until the time he killed more Philistines during his death than when he was alive. All these great men went through slavery. So what I'm trying to tell you, if every single slave was raped, I understand you're hurting, but what are you going to do with it? Because when you go to heaven and you tell God you hated the world, or worst of all, hurt people. So you were molested, so you molested your own children. Or you were raped, so you went out there raping people. What is God going to say to you? And let me read what God is going to say to you. And God is going to say, cast that unprofitable servant into outer darkness, where there should be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Why? Because he made nothing of himself. All right, let's go to work. 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 We're in Exodus chapter 32, and we're going to look at all the different reasons why people make idols and all the different types of idols. But what I have to explain to you is, life is something that you make. Your marriage is something that you make. Friendships is something that you make. Everything you have, money, success, power, a job, a career, all of that is something that you made. And the simple fact of the matter is, if you take the worst that's in you, the hate from getting raped, the hate from abuse, and that's what you put into the world, then you're only going to make the worst for yourself. You have to take the best of you and make life out of it. I'll give you an example. You know, I tell my wife all the time, and don't steal this line. This is my line. But let me tell you what I tell my wife all the time. It's one of those little lovey-dovey lines, but I tell her this. And listen to this now. This is for the men only, so women, close your ears. I tell my wife, I say, listen to me. Whenever I do something really bad, I say, listen to me. The best part of me chose you. The most humble part of me. The nice guy in me. That guy right there, that chose you. And that's why I married you. Because I know I'm arrogant. I know I can be stuck up. I know I can act up. And I think I know it all. I know all of that. But guess what? The best part of me, the most humble part of me, fell in love with you. And because of that, that's why I married you. Because I don't know what the rest of me would have done. See, the rest of me would have still been out there doing dirt, cheating and doing all the rest of the stuff. But because I know the best part of me chose you, I can't never get rid of you. Now, that was for the men. So you can use that line. That's my line, but you can use it sometimes. All right. So what I'm saying is, everything you have in life is what you made. Now, let's go to work and let's talk about all these idols. And we're in Exodus chapter 32 and verses 1 to 10. And I ain't got much time, so I'm going to have to cut this one short, but I can get my point across. Now listen to all these idols that we make as a people. And we're in verse 32. And when the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mountain, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, arise and make us gods, that they shall go before us. For as for this Moses fella, the man who brought us up out of Egypt, we do not know who he is or where he is. So listen to this now. The first problem is this. The people are asking Aaron to make them an idol. Why? Because they don't know where Moses is. So what is the first idol that people make? They make idols of their leaders. So just because Moses wasn't there, the people wanted Aaron to go ahead and make them a false god. So what am I trying to tell you? You make idols out of man. Come on, this one deep. In fact, this one for the older generation. Let me talk to them. The people who would idolize Lyndon Pinland. Sure, he was a good prime minister in the beginning, but I sure you remember the commission of inquiry. And if you're too old or you're too young and you don't know what I'm talking about, then do your research. You know about Carlos Leader. You know about the drugs coming in. You know about a nation for sale. And I'm not saying he didn't liberate a lot of black people from the UBP. But what I am saying is this. He is no one to be idolized. God is the father of this nation. Point number one. And I ain't never going to change. I don't care what leader goes up there. I'm talking to the older generation now. The F&Ms and the PLPs and their party could do no wrong. And they're the biggest gangs in this country. Before fire and theft, before all the rest of them, one order, you got the F&M and the PLP. Who robbing more than them? But you can't see it because you were part of that gang. Because you idolizing man. So number one, people idolizing men, idolizing leaders. That got to stop. Moses was in there, so they felt like, you know what? Who we going to idolize now? Make us a calf to worship. Let's go to work. Now idol number 2. And verse 2, and Aaron said unto them, break off your golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives and of your sons and of your daughters, and bring them to me. So what do people idolize now? Aaron said, go and take all the gold you have, because I need that to make an idol. Now, Bahamas, if I'm going to make an idol, how is gold going to make this idol valuable? Or how is gold going to allow me to worship a statue? Just because a statue is made of gold, how does that give it value? You said that don't make no sense. So if I take a person and give them a bunch of gold, how are they valuable to the community I'm going to work today, Bahamas? Come on, I tell you this one important. You idolizing money. So because I give this person gold and they's the biggest gambling, or they have the biggest gambling spots in the Bahamas, how am I going to idolize them? Because I give them gold and they own all the liquor stores in the Bahamas, how am I going to idolize them? Just because I make the statue out of gold doesn't mean I should worship the statue. And if the answer is no, just because I give a man a bunch of money, should I worship that man? No, because that means you're really worshiping money. You really feel like whoever I give money to, whoever get money, that's who I should worship. Come on. You see it all the time. You see the dope boys, the 90s, they give out some bags in the community and people worshiping them. Oh, thank you, 90. For what? For bringing drugs into the neighborhood? For letting them demons in? And that's what you worshiping? So because I give a man, I don't care how corrupt they are. Once I give them some money, once I make that statue of the gold, you should worship it. So number 2, the second way we idolize is when we idolize material things. Stop it. All right, let's go to work. In verse 3, and all the people broke off the golden earrings, which are in their ears, and brought them to Aaron. And he received them from their hands and fashioned it into a molten calf. So he created a calf. And they said, these are the gods that brought us out of Egypt. Come and worship them. So what is this calf? This calf is one of the gods they worship in Egypt. So what is the next thing we idolize? Foreigners or foreign things. Why is it that we as a people idolize anything that's foreign? So what do I mean by that? Anytime you feel like someone else is better than you, you turn yourself into a second-class citizen because you believe these people are better than you. So you put them before you. So clearly they must be God because it's foreign. Come on, I'm going to work. And I don't even talking about people. Because I don't want y'all to think I'm prejudiced or I'm some nationalist, because I'm not. I love everybody. What I'm talking about is foreign ideas. When you have a gay rainbow flying at the American embassy, that's a foreign idea that they want you to believe. So clearly they're your God. If you let them into your country and bring their ideas and indoctrinate your people, that's a definition of colonialism. You bring in your ideas and you rule a people by making them think the way you think. Come on, I'm going to work today. I'm working hard today. I'm trying to tell you why you're blocking your blessing. So the third idol is the idolization when you make foreigners God or anything foreign ideas, foreign principles. And you make it God. Why? Because you put it before you and yours. Anything you put before God is the idol. Let's go to work and listen to what it says. And these are the gods. This calf, now this golden calf. Listen to what Aaron is telling the people. He's telling people, these are the gods, O Israel, that brought you up out of the land. So what is the next thing we idolize? a flipping lie. And flipping ain't a curse, so I can say it on TV, but I like the word. So you idolize a lie. They're saying that this calf is what brought them out of Egypt. So what are the lies that we idolize? Darwinism. Think about it. How many people out there believe that we came from monkeys? Believe in evolution? Believe in the Big Bang Theory? Come on, this one could go deeper than that. We believe a lie. Let's talk about the Catholic Church. You believe in purgatory, that you go somewhere before you go to heaven. And you sit there for a little while, so you're a bad person, and then you can go into heaven. That was made up by the Catholic Church. You believe that the Pope is the vicar of Christ on earth, that the Pope is the voice of Jesus Christ on earth. That's another lie. That you can buy indulgences, and the Catholic Church should go out there and pay for you to get into heaven. Once you give them the money, you can pay for your family to come out of purgatory and go into heaven. That's another lie. What's another lie the Catholic Church perpetrates? That you can pray to saints. You can pray to Mary. It's impossible to pray to a saint. You pray into a man, which is a demon. It's impossible to pray to anybody but God through our Lord Jesus Christ. So why did I bring this up? Because I don't want y'all to think that I'm not looking at the Christian faith as well. I don't want you to think, oh, he always say Muslim, or people who are Muslim, they worship in the false God, and Rastafarians are worshiping the false God. But it's true. I never lie to you. There's only one God, and that's our Lord Jesus Christ. But I also want you to understand, I look within our own churches too. And we do it. That's why I talk about the Catholic Church so much and the atrocities. They believe a lie and they preach people a lie. And that's the problem. So here it is. You have Aaron getting people to worship a lie, that this calf, the propaganda that a calf brought them up out of Egypt. And let's go to work. Because see, this is why they blocked their blessing. Remember now, that whole generation of Israelites died in the wilderness. None of them saw the promised land. See, the promised land was their blessing, but none of them made it. And I'm trying to show you why they didn't make it. Because they never worship God. They worship idols. And I'm giving you the idols that we ourselves worship. That's how I'm working so hard. I don't want you to block the promised land. That's how we started off talking about the kingdom of heaven. See, that's the promised land. I'm trying to get you there, Bahamas. I can't put you there. Only Jesus can do that, but I can help get you there. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. We gotta go to work. I promise you, people believe a lie. If you look at the Ku Klux Klan, they were Christians. That's supposed to be a Christian organization. The KKK, they believed the lie. When you look at half of these polygamous societies out there, the Mormons having 10, 50, and 30 wives, molesting their own daughters. They supposed to be Christian. They live in a lie. Come on, going to work. Look at all the different cults out there. See, I never lied to you. I tell you the truth. All right. And what's the fifth one so I can wrap this one up? And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before this golden calf. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is the feast of the Lord. Oh boy. They call it the calf or that thing or the gold god. They only can be calling gold god. So they call it gold god. And the people rose early and they offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. And they sat down and they ate and they drank and they rose up to play. So they were heathens. They were now sleeping with each other and sleeping around. We see it all the time. The people ate, they drank, and they rose up to play. What do you think play mean or meant? When Moses went, he found all the people naked. He didn't know what was going on because they was having a whole menage. If you're too young to know the word, then you don't need to know it. If you're old enough to know the word, then you know what I'm talking about. It was a one big orgy. The people got up to play. So what's the fifth thing people idolize? A hedonistic lifestyle. People love their freedom to play, to do as thou wilt. As Aleister Crowley would say, one of the biggest Satanists, do as thou wilt. Not what the God will, do as thou wilt. And that's the fifth thing. Let's wrap all this up because I'm running out of time. And the Lord said unto Moses, get thee down to these people, for they have brought us themselves into corruption. So listen to what, and I'm going to read it for you again, because what do we always say to Bahamas? It's corrupt. God said, get thee down, for thy people have brought us themselves into corruption. So what is God saying here? What God is saying is this, and listen closely because I got to wrap this one up. The reason you have idols, which are fake gods, is because what you have made of yourself, you have made yourself corrupt. So let me take my time on this one. And hopefully Zed and Ness don't cut me off. If you yourself are a hypocrite, if you yourself are fake, if you yourself are corrupt, then it's impossible for you to worship a real God. How can a fake person, you fronting, you doing it for TV, you're doing it because you're a politician, so you're corrupt. How could you worship a real God? The problem is this: you were made in God's image. So if I'm made in God's image, but I have corrupted myself, so that means I'm fake, I'm a false, I'm an imitation of God, because I was made in God's image, but guess what? I chose to corrupt myself, so I'm a fraud. I'm not like God. Then how is it possible for me to worship God? If you're going to church every single day, every single Sunday, but you having an affair, an adulterous relationship, then you're a fake. But yet, you want to worship a real God. But if you're made in God's image, and our God is against adultery, then what God are you worshiping? It can't be God Almighty, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. So I'm going to wrap all this up with that. The reason why people worship idols, this is the most important one, is because they themselves are fake. And fake people can't worship a real God. Because if you're created in God's image, you only get worship the image in which you portray. So if I'm a dope boy, how am I worshiping a real God talking about Jesus? If I'm pushing gambling and drugs and sex and marijuana, how am I worshiping a real God? I'm fake. I only can worship what I know. That's the goal, the cause, the people. That's going to work. God, we pray that you may bless us, guide us, protect us, and help us in all things, dear Heavenly Father, to not be hypocrites and worship the one true and living God, so that we may make it into the promised land and never block our blessing. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.